This is Rob DeLuca from Spread Eagle, and I'm very excited to talk about the new album, Subway to the Stars, coming out August 9th on Frontiers Music SRL. Very, very proud of this record. I produced it along with Grammy-winning engineer Tom Camuso. It was mixed by Daniel Brecher, mastered by Howie Weinberg, fifth album I've done with Howie. Beautiful album artwork by Tristan Graytrix. I have a long history with Tristan in UFO. Pictures by Omer Krahler, some additional engineering by our guitar player Ziv Shalev, even some tasty cellos by Yoed Nir. I usually write songs from the bottom up. I usually focus first and foremost on the feel, the rhythm, the groove, and then lay things on top of that. So we started with rhythm section rehearsals, drums and bass. Our drummer Rick DeLuca came in from Long Island to Manhattan Music Building 15 or 20 times to play with me. The Music Building is the exact place where Spread Eagle wrote and rehearsed our debut album. So as Rick and I were playing, it gave me time to see what was working with the songs and what wasn't, and that was very important to have that kind of time to see, to fix things. And Rick was great during this process. He was very patient and very energetic, and it really helped things along quite a bit. And I can honestly say this album wouldn't be what it is without Rick DeLuca's dedication. Rick's also a talented songwriter. He brought in the song 29th of February. He brought in the music to that song, and I think that's one of my favorite songs on the album. So Rick and I were playing at the Music Building in Manhattan, and we worked up 17 ideas. We narrowed it down to 15. We took those 15 ideas and we brought them to his studio, Blood Orange Sound on Long Island, and we demoed them. As we were working on those 15 ideas, Ziv was in his studio writing, demoing, working up songs. So I brought our 15 ideas to Ziv's studio. He laid guitar on those 15 ideas. I laid bass on his ideas, and then they were no longer my song or your song. They became Spread Eagle songs, and it was very exciting to see the album start to take shape at that point. Ziv is incredible to work with. He's just a fantastic guitar player. He's got complete knowledge of the fretboard. He's the perfect blend of dirt and technique, and it's just a pleasure being in a band with him. When you show him an idea, he comes up with so many arrangement ideas. Sometimes they're all so good you don't even know which one to choose, but in the end I think we chose really great ones. As we were working on these ideas, we would send them to Ray West. He would give his input on what he liked, what he thought we should change, what he thought could be better. We were taking that into account as we were moving along. Next up was tracking. We tracked here at Gramulicious Studio E in Brooklyn, New York, on this vintage Neve from the early 1970s. This is the exact Neve that Aerosmith used for overdubs on their album Toys in the Attic. We tracked with Grammy-winning engineer Tom Camuso, who was fantastic. Tommy has years and years of experience and a lot of great input and amazing ears. He came up through the Lenny Kravitz camp, and he was just really valuable helping us through this whole process. For drums and bass, we had rehearsed so many times, Rick and I, that we just recorded live, the two of us, and that way we could just focus on killer performances. We knew the songs really well, so we didn't have to think about forms and things like that. We could just rock out. Tommy was in here on the console, so we didn't have to think about how it sounded or engineering, so we just nailed it. We did multiple takes of each song, and it was pretty easy actually. Next up was Ray West with vocals. Ray was an absolute pleasure to produce. He came in totally prepared, and he nailed the singing. The thing about Ray is he has so much style. He brings so much style to everything he does. The songs were already strong, but when Ray puts his stamp on it, it really makes it special and makes it Spread Eagle. And it was a pleasure working with him. Ray told me it was one of the most enjoyable experiences he ever had in the studio, which made me feel really good. because we had a lot of fun. We were doing a lot of laughing, and it was pretty painless. And it's a real pleasure making music with someone who's been a friend of mine for so many years.
So when I have to figure out guitar parts in the studio, I usually have a very single approach to this. What would it feel like live? Spread Eagle is the kind of band that, you know, it's a big sound, but then again on stage there's one guitar player. And that's also something I have to keep in mind, you know, which shoes I stepped into and what the genre needs. Working in the studio with Rob is a great experience, primarily because he brings in the bass and drums, and then all I have to do is just riff away and find parts that just feel natural. And then from then on it's very simple. I, you know, see Rob and, you know, in the corner of my eye, and he's like moving around, and like, you know, it means that the part is good. So that's awesome. When we got to the studio, what I loved about the process is that we were so fortunate to have friends who lended us so many amps and even guitars, which is funny because we have all these guitars laying around, and then we ended up using Tommy's SG, a 1986 Red Devil that sounded the best. We tried different routings, different amps, different pedals, until we got the right tone for the specific song. And it was a hell of a process. I am truly fortunate to be in this band, and I'm really, really proud of the way this record came out.